Hello everybody and welcome to today's sciatica video. So what we're going to be looking at today is a dead easy to understand overview of the different types of sciatica we can get, and we're going to look at where you might be if you've got any symptoms. We're going to look at why you might have them, and we're going to look at where you would be on what we call the sciatica scale, and we're also going to try and take some of the fear and some of the worry out of that term that sciatica tends to conjure up in people. So the bottom line is, if you hear the word sciatica, it's actually a Latin word for leg pain. It just means leg pain, that's all it means. And generally what it means nowadays is that somebody's got some symptoms in the leg, and that can include your bottom, it can include your groin or your hip, it can go all the way down to the knee, it can go into the ankle, it can go into the foot. And it means that something in your lower back is sending or giving you feelings in your leg that shouldn't be there, right? This is generally speaking, there are other types. And very commonly, your spine itself it's bones that move that protect nerves. So what often happens in people is one of those bones, or more than one of them, will get stuck or out of place, and it starts to antagonize the nerves that live inside, and then the nerves that live in your back getting antagonized. Because those nerves travel into our leg, we start feeling problems in the leg, like we might feel numbness, we might feel pain, we might feel tingling, we might feel pins and needles. There are other things in the low back as well that can mimic that. So sometimes some of the muscles in the low back, like the ones in your waist or the ones in your bottom or the back of your hip, they can send pain and problems into the leg as well. So it's not unheard of. People sometimes say, Mike, I've heard about piriformis syndrome. And that's, again, it's another Latin term for one of the muscles in your bottom. It means pear-shaped muscle. So if you hear piriformis syndrome, it means that there's a problem with the pear-shaped muscle that lives in your bottom. So you'll not forget that one. And the piriformis muscle as well can trap or press the sciatic nerve before it even goes into the leg. So there's lots of different things in the back, the hip, that can send pain into the leg. We look at them in people who come to see us, we'll look at all of them. And the thing to know is that if you're starting to get problems going into your leg like that, we talk about a sciatica scale. So at one end of the scale is people who are feeling twinges, niggles, irritations. They're just aware that they can't quite do things like move properly anymore. And then you've got people who've got absolutely agonizing pain in the leg, and they can't move, they're bedridden. So most people that we meet fall somewhere on that scale. And really, if you're at the niggle stage, or if you're at the midway stage, you know, for instance, let's say you're not in agony, but you've got some pain that's worrying you and bothering you in the leg. Not what you want to hear, but the take-home message is that what your body's always going to do, and this is the important bit from the whole video, is your body's going to try to give you warning signs. You know, if you've got problems with your spine and with the nerves that go into your leg, your body's extremely intelligent, and it's going to think to itself, it knows that if that problem gets out of hand, it might end up as a problem where somebody's in agonizing pain, they can't move, they're bedridden. So it'll keep giving you little warnings, because there's a famous saying, and it doesn't make sense at first, but it will when you think about it. The problem is never really the problem. So in other words, if you see a leak in your house, let's say you see some stains on your ceiling, and you think, oh, I'll just paint over those, which can be like taking painkillers with sciatica. You probably know that the stain is going to come back through again. But if you look a bit deeper, so the stain, one problem, is often caused by a problem like a leak in your roof, or a burst pipe, or a leaky gutter. So just like in your body, the problem that you feel isn't often the problem you've got. So a lot of sciatic problems are down to things like the spine, like we just talked about. They can be down to discs, nerves, arthritis in the spine, and the pain is your body's way of saying, just like the stains appearing on the ceiling from a leaky roof, which is a big deal, it's your body's way of saying, you know what, we've got some problems going on here, and these problems are going to affect our health in other ways. These problems are going to cause us potentially, not definitely, but potentially bigger problems down the line. So let's give you a warning, because at the end of the day, we're built to live life, and we're built to enjoy life, and we're built to flourish. So before we end up in a really bad place, we're going to just keep giving you warnings. If you ignore them, the warning might get a bit bigger next time, and a bit bigger. That's why a lot of people will say to me, he started off as a niggle, Mike, and then it got worse and worse, and I can hardly move, or I'm going that way. That's why I'm giving you a call now for some advice. So there's some things to think about there, and what we're going to do, because we've got patients due any second, is we'll come back to this theme tomorrow and Thursday, and we'll look at some other related things. But the biggest thing, and we'll come back to this like I've just said, is movement within your tolerance is almost always a really, really, really good thing. So when people ring us and say, oh, what shall I do? I might come and see you, I might not, I might come in next week, I might not. What should I do? The biggest thing to share is, if you keep moving, whether that's getting in and out of your chair, if that's all someone can do, whether that's going for a walk around the block or the garden, if that's all somebody can do, or if it's going for a good walk for a couple of miles, if that's doable, movement keeps everything from your muscles to your bones to your discs to your nerves to every cell. Everything in your body needs movement as part of being alive. So movement within your comfort zone, you know, until you've had proper professional advice and somebody look at you, is almost always a good thing. So we'll pick this back up tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and I'm hoping that what I'm saying gets you thinking a bit about yourself and where you're up to. And what we'll also look at as well is, we've looked at this before, it's very rare that somebody with a spine problem or a sciatic problem can't get better, or at least can't improve to a decent place where quality of life improves again. So we'll come back to that as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's lovely to see you all on here. I'm Dr Mike, chiropractor at Wigan Family Chiropractic Hospital. Speak to you soon. Thanks again.